So this one, the kid behind me ran my head over right there. And that's a tire mark of the kid. So yeah, that happened on this one. I do this because this is what I truly love. This is all that I really will enjoy for my life. This is going to be my job, and I already know it.
She's been alive for 11 years, and she's been more than half of those years she's been on a motorcycle. So it's like second nature, you know?
I like how fast you can go, how much you can push the bike. It's a great feeling once you get the flow and go fast. I also like the adrenaline. So. Being one of the only girls is not, I just think men are just other obstacles on the track. So are women. They're all things that I need to get around and race against. We're all equal and we're all the same. It's good to see girls out there because this is called a male-dominated sport.
I thought if I had a boy, he'd definitely race. Girl, I was like, you know, in my head, I was like, it'd be cool if she even wanted to ride a dirt bike. Just being a girl is an advantage in motorcycle racing. And then being a little kid and then beating grown men that have like more experience than she's been alive. It's pretty awesome. Most of the races she wins are against all adults.
Are these new tires? They're good?
Real good.
Yeah.
Might take a few laps to get them feeling good, you know?
They usually do.
They'll feel good after a couple laps. This weekend we're going to an ASRA race. It's going to be in Illinois. They combine everyone, so I guess you would consider it a semi-pro race because it's all experts and novices. Where you finish is where you finish.
Oh, I'm gonna get you.
I started racing when I was 16. Did that for about 15 years, and then Kayla took an interest. Originally, when she was 3, I got her a dirt bike just to play around. One day, she was just like, "Dad, I want to race." And I was like, "You don't even know what racing is." So I didn't really take it seriously, and she's like, "No, I really want to race." You know, I was just happy that she was riding. And then when she wanted to race, I didn't think that anything would come of it. And it really was actually probably more fun for me back then because there was no pressure. And then she started getting good, and so then having the track here, I was like, "You want to try road racing?" She's like, "Okay," and she didn't care. She's like, "Whatever." It was like instantly, like she was like flying on it, and I was like, "Man," I was like, "I guess we're gonna start road racing." And then, you know, because that's like what I knew the best. And yeah, she won a championship her first year road racing. It's mini GP stuff. So at that point, it was all kids. The second year, she won more championships. Basically, she couldn't really go much further in the kids organization. And at that point, she was 8, and they weren't going to allow her to race against adults until she was 10. I was like, by the time she's 10, she's going to be way behind the curve. Nowhere around here would let kids race against adults. And so this guy, Josh Heron, he's one of the fastest guys in the country, pro guy. He's got a track at his house, and he was like blown away by her lap time. He's like, "Man, this is awesome. I've never seen a kid go this fast." And it made her really aggressive. You could see a difference from like the year before, or just a few months before, against kids. I mean, she looked like a totally different racer after that. And so the second weekend down there, and he's like, "I'm gonna race against her." She beat him, and he's like the fastest guy in the country.
At first it was like, oh, they're gonna be really aggressive and stuff. But then I figured out it's actually not that different than racing against kids. Most of them know that they're racing against me because we all see each other at the riders meeting and stuff. But at first I don't think they expect like a little girl to beat them. But then, yeah, it's really fun.
They wanted her to go expert this year, which is pro, And I was like, I don't have a problem with that, but why don't we just keep her, novice one more year? Because a lot of the races are combined, and she's with the experts anyway. I don't want to put too much pressure on her. I don't know where her mind's going to be, going from winning everything to not even get, first or second.
I don't think so far in my racing with big bikes I've ever gotten out of the top 3. So. All right, so this is my trophy room. I put most of my trophies in here. I think we still have more, but I don't know where they are. This is, I think, the one that's most important, because this one I got unexpectedly. Out of the whole association, I was the one person that got picked for the Youth Road Racer of the Year award. So I was happy about that. I like the ASRO trophies a lot. They're like the cups. I like them a lot. These are all my wear trophies. These are my crashed helmets. Each one has their own story. They're all destroyed. I can't use any of them again. This one, I hit a puddle and I cracked the throttle. So I went up and I went back, and my back tire totally tossed me out. And so this is what happened on this one. And I can't even open it. This one's a bummer, because this one was my favorite helmet. It's a real bummer. It's only back here too. That's the only thing, but it's one and done, so, but whatever. So I got 31 from my dad, because a long time ago, he was number 31. Because he asked me what number I wanted to be, and I said I want to be number 31. He was like, don't you want your own number? I was like, no, I want to have your number.
It's kind of embarrassing, but early on, I was kind of rough on her. You kind of got to be, because you kind of got to explain to them, like, if you're not going to take it serious, then, like, we're wasting our time. Honestly, if I knew that she would be racing the big bikes, I probably wouldn't have even done it, just because of money and the danger. Like, but the thing is, it's like, you keep going to the next level, and then you're like, okay, I'll accept this. I'll get used to this. And you're like, I'll stop at this. And then you go to the next thing, and you're like, whatever. It's still worrisome because, the danger, but it's a lot more relaxing than it was. I was talking to one of the dads like last month, and it kind of like opened my eyes, because I'm not gonna go there and be like, man, I'm like scared, so scared for Kayla. Because you do get scared. You start thinking about stuff, and you see people get really hurt, and you're like, man, what am I doing? I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, he's like, if he didn't really want to, if he told me he didn't want to do this, I'd be so happy. I'd find something else to do, and I wouldn't have to worry. And I was like, yeah, you worry too? He's like, oh, whenever I come to the track, I always pray when we come to the track that we leave okay. And I'm the same way. It's like, I go and I get excited about it, but it's just like, you don't want to think about it, but you also think about any scenario that could be avoided. And you either prep her on that, or you try to fix that scenario to where it's not a possibility. See, this year she crashed probably 3 or 4 times, which is probably about average. Some of her crashes weren't her fault, like that last big one. Well, first I was really worried, because a lot of people in the race, red flag, and she didn't come back. I was like, oh man. And then I heard a guy in the pit road say, it's that little blonde girl. I was like, oh man. And then one of the officials was like, you have to go to medical. I was like, what? And then it was really up and down emotions. So then I went there and met her, and she's like bawling in the back of the ambulance. I was like, what's wrong? I was like, what's hurting you? She's like, my leg, but the bike's destroyed. I was like, I don't care about the bike. I was like, what's wrong? She's my leg, but it's not bad. The bike is destroyed. And so I went over to the crash truck to see it, and I was like, holy crap. It's just, I've destroyed bikes, but I never broke a bike in half. I would have been more mad if it was something avoidable. But I watched it, and I was like, there's nothing she could have done. I was like done. I was like, all right, let's just go home. Because first of all, I was like, it was scary waiting for her not coming back. And then she started crying. She's like, what? And I was like, what's wrong? And she's like, but we have races tomorrow. I was like, you really want to race? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, all right. I couldn't believe she wanted to race. The next day, she won every race. She obviously like has a huge passion for it, because I was actually deterring her. I was like, let's just get out of here. And then she started like bawling. Like, I was kind of surprised.
I'm scared of what can happen, but it's not everyday fear. Like, What happened with my bike at VIR, that was pretty scary. And to know, like, the kid could have gotten really hurt and stuff. Hey. I'm coming for you. Up, you went up? Okay. I like going to the skate park. I like riding my scooter around. I like playing my saxophone. I like reading. I like a lot of things. I like playing with my sister. If I want to race, I have to get good grades in school. I have to get A's. So far, it's coming up to first term, and I think my lowest grade's a 96 or a 7. So.
In the van, when we drive, I mean, I don't have to tell her. I mean, I don't have to tell her ever to do homework or read. I'll just be driving and I look over and she's just reading away.
Here's the new one, which I wore at Roebling. Yeah, and I did good there, but yeah, just the front. I really like this suit because it matches more with the bike.
What I first had to do is I had to Google it.
Dad's so big. He does my tires, he does my oil, he's my mechanic, he's my coach, he's everything.
The coaching part, you don't really even think about. It's just like a routine that just automatically happened.
If I follow exactly what he does, it makes everything so much better. So I look up to him because like I said, he's a great racer, and he was a great racer, and he knows so much stuff about racing too. I 100% want to keep racing.
One of the reasons why I keep doing it is really, it takes up so much time and commitment that, you know, if there wasn't more to it, I think I probably wouldn't do it.